Cheers to every FPL manager, we're back with our midweek episode and this time we're doing a preview for Game Week 2. And we're going to discuss the top 5 most important talking points. And our first talking point is Man City. If you haven't done so already, you need to seriously consider tripling up on Man City assets. Judging from the Community Shield and the first game away to Arsenal, it looks like City are not resting on their record-breaking previous season and look to be right into their groove again. Their upcoming 6 fixtures seem very tempting on paper: Huddersfield, Wolves, Newcastle, Fulham, Cardiff and Brighton. So basically 3 clubs that were promoted last season and 3 clubs that had been promoted the season before. However, the Pep Roulette is still haunting us, leaving us with the most difficult question: who's gonna start? Let's try to answer this question together, starting with the backline. Ederson is definitely the most secure option. Walker and Mendy are the next best bets, and they're also more likely to produce points with potential for goals and assists. Mendy was electric in game week 1 and often seemed like a left winger instead of a fullback. The centre backs are a whole other story, as they could repeatedly suffer rotation with Laporte, Stones, Otamendi and company all expected to get playing time every now and then. Moving on to midfield. For only 7.5 million, if you don't already have Bernardo Silva, you should really consider buying him, especially now that De Bruyne could be out for a while. If you pick a City midfielder and he gets benched, don't despair. Be patient instead and give them a few more games to see if they could regain their starting spot. And you may get rewarded heavily, as they will be trying even harder when they're on the pitch and they can still get goals as substitutes. While in the front, Aguero was ineffective against Arsenal and made way for Jesus late in the game. Of course, managers, including me, are worried about his performance and doubt he might get rotated this weekend. But I'm giving him another chance, as I wanna save as many transfers as possible. Plus, I already said in preseason episodes that Aguero is someone you keep for the whole season, as he might blank for a week or 2 and then grab you a super hat-trick in the following. One more scenario is Pep using 3-5-2 formation, which may see both Aguero and Jesus paired together, but we'll have to wait. In conclusion, I would say that you need to seriously consider tripling up on City regardless of the Pep Roulette. My favorite 3 options would be Mendy, Sterling and Aguero. Second talking point, Liverpool. Pretty much in the same context as Manchester City, I find tripling up on Liverpool could be very profitable. They were very impressive in their home win against West Ham. Defensively, the top 4 options in my opinion are Robertson, Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold and Alisson. Arnold is the cheapest way into the backline, but he's also the most player risking rotation. In midfield we have Salah or Mane or even both, plus Firmino in the front. On the plus side, Liverpool are unlikely to rotate as much as Man City, and choosing their assets may prove easier. Differential punts for Liverpool could be Shaqiri, Sturridge and Keita, but I personally think, why would you? My advice is to leave your risky picks for somewhere else. Next talking point, don't make panic transfers. Making my tour around FPL communities on Facebook and Twitter, I've already seen lots of managers taking hits and even using wildcards. Chill people, chill. We have only had 1 game week and we shouldn't be making rush transfers until we've seen at least a little more. If you did your research prior to the season and you chose your players wisely, why would you give up on them after 1 match? And that's really all I have to say about it. Please save your transfers. Fourth talking point, budget options. 3 4 million defenders started for their team in game week 1 and they are expected to continue playing. Number 1, Wan-Bissaka. Highly touted in the FPL Twitter community as a 4 million starter, hats off to those who started him, as the majority of owners had him on the bench and like me, they probably almost cried. If you've got cheap bench players that aren't starting, Bissaka should definitely replace one of them, as he's a real option in the future. So don't be too hasty, as I can't see Palace shutting Liverpool out on Monday night. Second option, Peltier. Like Wan-Bissaka, Peltier is not only a cheap defender for your bench. He made 4 tackles in game week 1, 3 of them were successful, more than any other teammate. Cardiff conceded only 16 goals in 23 matches at the Cardiff City Stadium last season, while keeping 11 of their 19 clean sheets at home. Third option, Bennett. Another 4 million defender starting for his team. With the other 2, he can save you cash to get Mendy or Robertson. PS, for 4.5 million, Danny Ward is a midfielder in FPL, but he played 28 minutes in game week 1 as a striker for Cardiff. He can be a great option to free up funds in midfield, plus he offers potential for points. To the fifth and last talking point, top players to watch, Benjamin Mendy. With the pace and stamina of a runner, it's hard to ignore the performance of Mendy. A clean sheet and 2 assists are making lots of managers regret not getting him from the start, so if you're considering buying him, I can't argue that decision. Just think twice about whom you're sacking for him. Luke Shaw. One goal on Friday night against Leicester at Old Trafford got FPL managers around the world checking why they didn't have him. Having a United defender is a must given the number of clean sheets De Gea is bound to rack up consistently over the season. If Shaw remains a starter, he's going to be the cheap way to cover United's backline. The question is, will Ashley Young's return end the season for Shaw? I hope not, but we all know how Mourinho can be. Thirdly, Schlupp, a 4.5 million defender playing as a winger. He's in great form with 2 preseason goals and 1 goal in game week 1. Holebas, 13 points in game week 1, 2 assists and a clean sheet. He also has 5 attempted assists in game week 1, more than any other player. 4.6 million is a good deal for such a defender. Richarlison. Like last season, Richarlison is impressing from the start. With 2 goals in his Premier League debut for Everton, he's had lots of managers drooling. Everton have reasonably easy fixtures on paper in their next 9 games, with only Arsenal to play in game week 6. Roberto Pereira. With 2 goals at home against Brighton and 16 points, lots of people are looking at the Watford man. Considering they played Brighton, the same team that blanked in 12 of their 19 away fixtures last season, no surprise for me that Watford won comfortably. But with Burnley, Tottenham, United and Arsenal in their next 6 games, don't expect the Hornets to have an easy ride. Yes, he's cheap, but realistically, how many more times this season is he going to get double-digit hauls? Ruben Neves. Nobody doubted the talent of the young Portuguese midfielder, and he opened his account with an unbelievable free kick and a great assist for Jimenez at home to Everton. But let's take a close look at Neves. Firstly, he's a defensive midfielder and very rarely ventures into the box. He only got 6 goals for Wolves last season, and all of these were from outside the box. So don't expect him to be getting goals and assists week in and week out in the Premier League. Mane. Managers who went for the Senegalese star were nicely rewarded in game week 1, nothing to suggest that scoring 2 goals in a game will be a one-timer for Mane, and he looks like an ideal replacement for all Kevin De Bruyne owners. Pogba. The World Cup winner surprised us when he was named a starter and captain for the Red Devils Premier League opener last Friday. More surprisingly, he nominated himself as the spot taker, which pissed off every Sanchez owner. Is he a good asset going forward? I think so. He's likely to start most matches when fit, and his class is undoubtable. This was all for this episode. We'll be posting predicted lineups for Game Week 2 24 hours before the deadline. Visit our Facebook, Twitter and website for daily updates. If you like what we're doing and you'd like to support us, then please click here. Thank you guys for watching and peace.